Here's how the Auburn Tigers can turn things around in 1 year, just like they're doing in Baton Rouge.
Listen, put me in the parking lot, with Bears, and I'll go out there and play. It don't matter.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. And joining me live from Barbaritos, as he does every single week, Auburn message board legend Charlie 5. How are you?
I'm excellent. Full of Mexicali, American food. Feeling
Sweet.
good.
As you can hear the blender in the background. All right, so there's an amazing movement happening in Baton Rouge, right? We've talked about Tennessee and what Heupel's been able to do in 2 years, how it should excite Auburn fans, how it should get them fired up with this new modern age of college football and the transfer portal and all of that. You know, Auburn can get back to the top of college football in a short amount of time, right?
Yeah.
Well, you look at it, the team that's most likely to win the West right now, the team that controls its own destiny, is LSU, right? The toughest division in all of college football. And Brian Kelly, when he got here, he barely had a roster.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, people were ready to get rid of him 2 or 3 weeks into the season. And all of a sudden, after what he did against Alabama this past weekend, they control their path to the SEC West. They've got to beat Arkansas and Texas A&M in their end. So this should give everyone watching and listening to the Auburn fan a ton of hope, Charlie 5.
Absolutely. The blueprint's there. I think one of the things that I didn't realize about this, it seemed like the LSU search drug out longer, and maybe it's because I think maybe Edo was fired earlier in the season or whatever, but
sure.
He was hired on November 29th. That was like a couple of days after their last game. It was fast, and I'm honestly, I think that's one of the reasons they were able to take, I think they had less than 60 scholarship players. They were able to go land a couple of bookend freshman offensive tackles and pull in some guys from the portal. December 21st is the early signing day. I mean, that gave them almost a full month to rebuild their board, their recruiting board, and go sign kids and close out that signing day. That date, I mean, our last game is November 26th. We've got to have somebody in place shortly after that. I mean,
do you think Auburn will have a head coach hired in November?
I do not, and not because I don't think we're not going to be prepared, or we're not going to, we don't see that date as urgent. I guess we're dropping the ball. I don't think it's going to be on that. I think it's just because of the way some of the things could play out, and the coaches that we're targeting, they could still be playing football that first weekend in December, and we might have to wait until, some conference championships are over beforehand. So I would love to have somebody. After 6:30 p.m. November 26th, right after the Iron Bowl ends. But in all likelihood, we're going after a pretty high-caliber coach, and they could still be coaching on December 2nd, December 3rd. And, any coach worth their salt is not going to leave their team when they have a conference championship to win. So
is that worth it? Is waiting that extra week for a high-caliber coach that's competing for a conference championship, is that worth it in your mind?
It is it is depending on the candidate pool. Okay, the candidate pool, when you got guys like Lane Kiffin, and you got guys like Dan Lanning that you're talking to, and you got even Deion Sanders. The SWAC championship is somewhere around that same weekend, even though the season for him ends on November 19th. When you got guys like this that could still be playing, I think it could be worth it. It could get it, just especially if they were to win the conference championship and then you hire them. Lane Kiffin's got to have some help, but still, I do think it's worth it. But it's got to be a really good coach, because Hugh Freeze is going to be done on November 26th, and Liberty does not have a conference championship. And you just saw what he did against Arkansas. We said if that were to happen, it's going to be so hard to not look at him as he beat a team that beat the brakes off of us with a.
Yeah. Do you think Auburn's in a good situation if it is Lanning, Kiffin, Dion, or Hugh? Are you happy with all four of those?
We could not ask for a better. I don't think you could ask for a better scenario for Auburn fans.
Do you think it will be one of those four coaches?
It's hard. It's so hard to say. Because of the way the AD search went. I would love to think that we wouldn't go past those four. I would love to say I think those are the best four fits for Auburn University. And you don't have to go past Hugh Freeze. If you want to take a shot at those first three, go ahead. Freeze is not saying no. So to end it there, I think Auburn would be just so blessed to have any one of those four guys leading us moving forward. And the timing would work out on all four of them. You'd be able to recruit hard for the next 20 days, and then the portal after that. I don't know. Auburn. If it goes past those four, who knows after that? So
yeah, I do always think it's interesting. Okay, what are we talking about, and who are we talking about right now? Right, because it never happens where like one of the two main folks that are the favorite early on actually get the job. Right, it just doesn't happen that way a ton. Which I'm very pro Lane Kiffin in this search. Like looking at history, like it's probably not Lane Kiffin.
Right.
But this surge towards Lanning that's happened over the last few days, like I think that's very, very interesting. I think On3 had Dave Aranda on their board, which is interesting. I hadn't heard his name until Hoke put it up there, so I thought that one was interesting.
Which is he's a sneaky, like he would be a sneaky awesome.
It'd be great. Yeah,
awesome
it'd be great. So any of the 5 or 6 that we kind of keep seeing, I think are going to be awesome. But the ones that I'm kind of thinking like outside the box, like, okay, well, what if it is another Bryan Harsin type hire in the nature of like, oh, we weren't even talking about this guy, right? Because you look at how John Cohen handled the coaching search when they went out and got Mike Leach, and he wasn't on any hot boards, right? When you talk to Mississippi State media. So I think that's what makes it intriguing.
You don't know.
I just hope we don't overthink it, though.
Oh yeah, to me, it's very fit matters. I don't care what anybody says. Fit matters. You could go get a Luke Fickell or a Chip Kelly or somebody like that if we're just trying to go higher. If we're just looking at resumes and a name outside of the box,
gotta have fit.
Or Mark Stoops. How does that fit in the blueprint of East Alabama, recruiting Georgia, South Florida, Mississippi? Who knows those? Who has those connections already? And honestly, then you got the whole Auburn aspect of like just wanting to, I think Lane Kiffin's probably the only one that doesn't really fit this mold, but like one that wants to just kind of plug into Auburn. That matters. That really, really matters. And we have no idea where Cohen and where Robert's head is at, especially after watching the AD stuff play out. And the only thing we do know is that Roberts understands he swung big. He swung big when you look at the Arkansas AD, the Miami AD. He swung big at these guys. And Cohen, we were paying more for an athletic director than I think we've ever paid. So that clearly that there is a go big aspect to Roberts and the vision that he has for the Auburn athletic department. So we're still the premium job right now. That's another thing. We have so many good options because we're the premium job available. And unless Texas A&M –
Is it the premium job if we win this Saturday?
I know where you're going with that because could that mean the end of the Jimbo Fisher? Until I see it, I just can't fathom. I know they got the money. I can't fathom
$90 million
that a $90 million check is going to be stroked. Because personally, I think Jimbo is I think he could get if he could just find that quarterback. If he can find that quarterback, if he just says, hey, look, we're young. We spent a lot of money on this recruiting class. Let's keep them together. Let's keep it going one more time. We're going to bring in a new offensive coordinator, and let's go find the best portal quarterback there is. I think they could still be pretty salty next year. I mean, it's hard. You can't lose recruiting like that for very long. You just can't. It's impossible unless you're just completely inept. I know he's goofy, but I just don't think Jimbo is just a Dumbo.
No, I'm with you on that. But could Carnell Williams get his SEC win this weekend? Vegas seems to think so. Do we think so? We'll tell you in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. This week's thrilling moment in college football brought to you by Nissan. The thrilling designs behind the new lineup from Nissan are intended to empower drivers and vehicles as capable as the driver themselves. When I think of unbelievable abilities on the field for this week's thrilling moment, I went back and forth between Tank's touchdown run, I think it was a 41-yarder, or Jalen Simpson's pick. And for some reason, I can't stop loving Jalen Simpson. I just can't
do
it. Fan. So let's give it to Jalen Simpson. We're simping hard. Absolutely love that. So this segment has been inspired by the new thrilling design featured across Nissan's new lineup of vehicles. Pursue what thrills you with the all-new Frontier, Armada, or Pathfinder today. Available at NissanUSA.com. Charlie 5, we're broadcasting live from Barbaritos, where you got your gallon of Chipotle Ranch.
Oh, yeah.
It tastes great, but watching you eat, it's kind of gross just because you're so just sloppy with it. But that's cool. It
goes everywhere. Everywhere.
But it's delicious. No, they've got bowls, tacos,
quesadillas,
quesadillas. Yep,
I'm a big quesadilla guy now.
Yeah, that's what you got the last few times. I'm traditional bowl guy, but yeah, be sure to check out our friends here at Barbaritos by the mall. And also, if you call, they do a bunch of catering for tailgates, or if you got holiday parties or Christmas parties coming up. Be sure to reach out to them and just let the store know that you heard us on this show, and they'll give you a bit of a deal. So shout out to our friends at Barbaritos. I think Carnell can win this weekend, right? They're favored according to Bet Online by 2.5 right now.
It's crazy.
It just the energy, and we'll hear from John Samuel Shenker in just a second. And him telling his account of how he learned that Bryan Harsin was fired was very interesting. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, I can't wait.
He just talks about the energy going into this game, and it's like it feels like it's this massive rivalry game, and it's just weird because both these teams haven't been very good so far this season.
Oh yeah, this is honestly the battle of bowl eligibility for both teams. I mean, whoever loses, they completely have no opportunity, I believe, to become bowl eligible.
Sure.
I think we both have the same record, but
right.
The emotion carried us emotion carried us a long way against Mississippi State. The kids wanted to be there. They wanted to fight, even though there were so many obstacles in the way. My only and Jordan Hare is going to be packed. I think there was somebody shared that the ticket prices for this game had gone way up because I think everybody wants to be there to watch Carnell coach this game and have a real opportunity to have an SEC win. How far can emotion carry us? That's the interesting thing. That's what I want to see. How far can just grit and desire and loving Carnell, how far can that carry us? Because it almost got us a win when we didn't deserve, or we didn't look like we even remotely were going to have a chance to win a game.
Sure.
I want him to get an SEC win so bad because, like, let's just be honest. There's only 14 of them for now, 14 SEC jobs. It's very select few people get it. He's got an opportunity that he may never have again. He may never have another chance to coach an SEC team, and I want him to get a win. I want him to have a conference win so bad. And man, the Vegas likes us. A&M's reeling. They seem to have a little bit of controversy or divisiveness in the team.
Yeah, they're worse off than we were a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Right. So maybe we can get them. Maybe we can get them. Jordan Hare will be rocking.
Huge. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun game for sure. Yeah, and it's just Texas A&M, like, they don't do anything particularly well. And it's like, I think Tank and Jarquez should be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
Now, Troxell's out for the year. You know, how does that impact things? I kind of like Brendan Coffey when he was in last week. So, like, I don't know how much of a drop-off it is. Now, if somebody goes down, like, I don't know what you do. Like, you just run out of bodies at that point. So the depth there stinks. But I don't know. I just think as far as how the matchups go, I think Auburn, you can talk yourself into them being better, getting better. I think they've improved. I think quarterback play has improved over the year. I think the running game as a whole has improved over the year. And I think the defense played its tails off last week.
Oh, yeah.
And Mississippi State's offense is significantly better than what Texas A&M brings offensively. So
I think we're much better built. We're much better built defensively to stop an A&M offense than we are to stop a Mississippi State offense. And we for like 2.5 to 3 quarters, full quarters, we shut Mississippi State down. So, yeah, I really like where we're at. Another thing is the offense was not great, but we found things that could work as the game went on. So that just means we know more about. I mean, we started on a Tuesday or a Monday or a Tuesday. We started the game plan with a whole new staff that's never called plays, calling plays off not their play sheet. We have more time. We've had more time to make it happen. So.
Right.
Looking for, I don't know. I feel good about it. I feel good about it. I'm excited to watch another.
Is it safe to say we're booging again?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely booging. I was booging hard. Got mad that we lost the game, which felt good. Instead of relieved,
right,
or wanting the dagger to be shoved in.
I understand. Yep.
You know what I mean. Felt good.
Yep. How can people find more of you, Charlie 5, before we jump into this fascinating conversation with John Samuel Shenker?
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at @the_Charlie_5 in the Locked On Auburn Discord, on the corner message board, or weekly on the Dad Bod Golf Pod.
All right. We mentioned it a second ago, but BetOnline is the best place to wager on all of your sports gambling needs, all the lines and props and odds that you could possibly imagine over at BetOnline. And we mentioned it. If you feel good about the Tigers this week, -2.5, jump on it. The over-under is at 50. Seems a little high. We'll see. I would take the under on that. That is a very unofficial pick right now. But yeah, be sure to check out BetOnline. It's where the game starts. Our weekly conversations with Auburn tight end and team captain John Samuel Shenker, brought to you by the Crawford Willis Group at eXp Realty. John Samuel, I'm sure it's been a crazy last week or so since we last spoke, with the news of Bryan Harsin being let go. How's the locker room responded? It seems like interim head coach Carnell Williams has brought a lot of energy to the program.
Yeah, the first few days were really hard. Just all of the things that are happening. It's hard to really focus on ball at that point. But Coach Lag did a great job with that last week, and just wanted us to serve each other in this university the right way. And that's what the message was, and will continue to be throughout the rest of the year. And I think he saw that on Saturday night, just us fighting for each other and playing for each other.
He says the word serve a lot. He said it in all of his interviews. It looks like there's a bunch of big old letters as soon as you walk into the athletics department. Serve is one of the words up there. What does that word mean to you, and what do you think it means as far as what Coach Williams is doing for this program?
It's just being selfless and doing stuff for other people, helping other people, helping our teammates become the best we can be on the field and off the field, and really serving our community and doing what's right and playing hard for the people around us and the people that go to the games and that love Auburn football. So that's what I take from it. It's just being a selfless person in every aspect of your life.
The game Saturday against Mississippi State, one of the weirder feelings I've ever felt following an Auburn football game. And there's been a lot of interesting games being an Auburn fan for a long time. But just the support that you guys are getting from the fan base, it seems pretty cool. What is that like from your perspective?
Yeah, it is. And to have that feedback, and that's part of the reason why we play. And when we went out, we wanted to make sure that we played as hard as possible. You can't let down just because the circumstances aren't in our favor. So our goal was to go out and play as hard as possible and serve each other, as Coach Lack says, and believe. And you saw it on Saturday, and that's being part of the Auburn family. If I was on the outside looking in and I saw that, I'd be happy too. Just not giving up on the season or the games, and just going out in there and giving your best.
Yeah. Has the tight end room, have you guys kind of banded together? Because you guys lost your head coach, the offensive coordinator, and your position coach, right? So that had to be a wild transition.
Yeah, it was. But we're a really tight knit group already. But just taking care of each other, and doing everything that we can to make sure everyone's all right in the room. It is a struggle, and some guys have gone through it, some guys haven't. So just being able to help guys out when they need us is why we're here, and that's why we're teammates.
The biggest difference between this transition and the previous transition, obviously when Auburn let go of Gus, was the timing of it, right? You guys beat Mississippi State, and then the next day the news of Gus being let go happened. This happened on a Monday, right? How did they tell you guys? How did you find out the news yourself?
I found out, I was sitting in Big Blue Cafe, and I found out on the TV on the ticker at the bottom of the screen.
Oh.
We had no idea. I was just sitting there eating lunch, and
what'd you do when you saw that?
I immediately went to my phone to text the tight ends, and because I didn't have social media at that time, so I didn't know, if it hit social media yet. And sure enough, a lot of guys were texting me, and the coaches didn't really know what was going on either. They didn't know until probably 30 minutes before we did. So, and then the day just kind of kept going, and we had a meeting later, saw Coach Harsin, he said his goodbyes and things like that. But just a wild, really 24 hours there from Monday to Tuesday.
Did Coach Harsin get a chance to address the team one last time? Or was it just kind of individual meetings?
Yeah, he got to address us one more time, which, I thought that's fitting. That's the right thing to do. And so he did that, and then Coach Lack came and talked to us after that.
I gotcha. Your role as not only a tight end, but a team captain, what all kind of falls into that? That's a different dynamic, right?
Yeah, and going through it once, you get a little bit of a feel for it, but this is a little bit different. But it really it doesn't help, but it really forces guys to come together and just believe in your teammates. We have the coaches, they're working hard, but they're also in this position together too.
Sure.
In these uncommon waters. So it's really just sticking together and helping each other out through this time, and helping with plays and things like that, not having coaches that you've had for the entire year there. So it's really just everyone coming together to help any way possible to win these games.
Our weekly conversations with John Samuel Shenker brought to you by our friends at the Crawford Willis Group at eXp Realty. Whether you're buying or selling your home or a second home or an investment property, it's a significant life move, a lot of money on the line. So it's important to hire a professional real estate team, not just one person, but you want a team in your corner to help navigate all of the millions of things that you've got to worry about when engaging with that process. And the folks at Crawford Willis Group are worthy of that. They know the Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, East Alabama market better than anyone out there, and you need to check out everything that they can offer for you. CrawfordWillisGroup.com is how you can get more information. My family used them. We will use them every single time we move, even though it's probably going to be a minute till that happens again. But CrawfordWillisGroup.com, be sure to check them out. John Samuel Shenker, Auburn tight end, team captain, joining us. So the energy around the game this Saturday is an all-time high. It feels like a massive rivalry, like this huge game, because just you're seeing reports of all of these former players coming to support Carnell and support you guys. Kind of this one last stand in SEC play at Jordan Hare Stadium this year. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy.
I'm so excited. It's going to be a packed out, sellout, I think. Just from what we can see from, the people, whether it's on social media or just texting you and stuff, there's a lot of anticipation for this, and not necessarily just because it's A&M, but just for the environment that Auburn football is in now. And you're right, like the people that love Coach Williams coming back, and yeah, I expect a huge crowd Saturday. Just really loud, and especially being a night game.
What has impressed you most about Coach Williams in this new role? I mean, he was kind of thrown into the fire here.
Yeah, he was, but he's handled it well. It's he's handled it in just a positive way, and everything. Like, yes, this is happening, but we're still together. We still get to play this game for Auburn, and just his love for Auburn, man. He's so indebted to this place, and it's done so much for him. And you see that when he speaks about it, and he's been moved to tears talking about it. So it's really awesome to see that and know that he loves the same thing that we do at this university.
The energy on the sideline Saturday, I mean, him jumping up and down, him running back and forth. I mean, I can't tell what was going through his mind, but there was a lot of it. I can only imagine being in his shoes. But even like the other coaches, like I think Coach Etheridge like pulled a hammy or something jumping up and down a few times. So big change, I guess, right, from last week to this most recent week.
Yeah, huge. It's more of, having fun, but they're also feeling like they're part of the game and in the game, that competitive spirit.
Yeah.
And you can see that. Yeah, Coach Etheridge, I think it was his knee. I think that's when it
okay.
But he's all right. But, yeah, just the sideline throughout the week, though, that's how it was. We wanted to make it like that, make it fun, and just be who we are, and just play for Auburn and love it. And I think we did that last week. And obviously now, even though we did lose, we do feel like we have a lot of momentum moving forward.
Give us some quick thoughts on Robbie Ashford. I know I've asked about him over the course of the season, but it seems like he's slowly growing up. Seems like he's getting more and more comfortable within the offense. Seems like he's getting more and more comfortable with the speed of the college game. But once again, he impressed me, just showing moments, flashes of like, man, this guy, if he can put it all together, he could be really, really good.
Yeah, and just, his growth throughout the year is unreal. Just to see him where he started to where he is now, and he's such a competitor, and you can see that when he plays, just how hard he plays, and he loves playing with us, and he does love Auburn. He really does, and I see that every day. And yeah, just his growth and him allowing to be coachable, because in that position, it can be hard, but he's done a great job. He's grown. He's probably the most developed player over the year, and hopefully that continues.
John Samuel Shenker, thank you so much for your time as always, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, War Eagle.
You can read all of my written work at auburndaily.com, and we'll be back tomorrow right here on Locked On Auburn.